It's just like you said, man. It's when you put thousands of like-minded people in the same room who essentially want to change the world and make themselves better every day and want to add value to this world and make other people better and make other people grow. There is an energy that is unbelievable, and you can't explain it until you go experience it.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
What's up? I am Wally Carmichael, your founder and host of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community, proving to you that you can, in fact, live a life of abundance and prosperity in family, faith, finances, and fitness on your way to having more. And today, once again, we are going to build on the financial part of living your life of abundance, because this is absolutely where a lot of people are struggling. But make no mistake about it. There's strategies involved in what we're going to talk about today, but 90% of what we talk about here on Men of Abundance, even though we talk a lot about strategies, a lot of it is mindset. So we're going to touch on that as well. And here's the cool thing. Just by listening to all of these amazing conversations here on Men of Abundance, you are absorbing the language. You're absorbing the mindset. The more you listen to these conversations, the more you're going to pick up on the state of mind, the language, and the energy that we all have as we're having these conversations. And then before you know it, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to say something, or something's going to pop into your mind in a certain situation, and you're going to realize, wow, that is amazing. It's going to start manifesting in your own brain, therefore manifesting in reality in your life. That's just how it works, guys. You're welcome. Then what's going to happen is you're actually going to start being more abundant in your actions. But you don't have to wait till later. You can be abundant in your actions today by paying it forward and sharing Men of Abundance with others. So make sure you do that. And before I introduce you to our featured guest today, I have one more quick announcement, and that is, over the last month and a half or so, I've been doing on Friday episode, the Abundance and Prosperity Business Mastery. Well, I decided to separate that into its own podcast. So you can now find the Abundance and Prosperity Business Mastery on Anchor and on Spotify. And over the next couple weeks, it's going to roll out into iTunes, on the Apple Podcast, and whatever your favorite podcast player is. So if you've been enjoying those episodes and you've been getting something out of them, just know that you're going to be able to find that on its own show, and it's got its own Facebook group as well, closed Facebook group, so that we can specifically have those conversations about business in that group, and then leave the Men of Abundance brand and the Men of Abundance conversations all to their own, like it should be. And by the way, I thank all of you very much for your support on that specific episode and the other episodes. You've been amazing, and I greatly appreciate your feedback. I took many of your suggestions and suggestions from my mentors, quite frankly, and made that a separate show of its own, hosted over on Anchor. All right, so our featured guest today is an active duty Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy and has served our country for 13 years. Through his years in the military, Tim has not only learned the power of high-level leadership, teamwork, discipline, and grit. He became a certified command financial specialist, educating hundreds of sailors and Marines on personal finance and creating financial freedom. So Tim rapidly found another life passion. As the financial education and syndication chief on the incredible platform Active Duty Passive Income, Tim is helping active, reserve, and other military-affiliated personnel realize their financial freedom goals through real estate investing. Tim is now a senior managing partner of both Kelly Housing Group and Affordable Housing Group, where he and his partners invest and syndicate multifamily property in the affordable housing space with a focus on apartment complexes and mobile home communities. Building communities, building legacies. He is married to his lovely wife, Allison, and they love being active in the community and giving back to the military. You can find more about Tim at thetimothykelly.com. Men of Abundance, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Tim Kelly. Tim, welcome to Men of Abundance, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, man. I really appreciate you having me. It's an honor. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation here.
Yeah, brother, absolutely, man. It's my pleasure, and we've been already talking for a good 14, almost 15 minutes, just catching up and getting to know each other a little bit, and we have a lot in common, man.
It's almost insane. Like I don't think your listeners would believe it if we just talked about what we discussed in the last 15 minutes, and it's just such a small world. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of us are married to amazing Panamanian women, which is just blows my mind. That's so cool. We're both in Florida, both obviously military. You're still active duty, right, Tim?
Yeah, that's right.
Sweet, man. And then we met up actually at Vet to Biz Life on Facebook, or one of those veteran business owned Facebook groups. So we got quite a bit in common, man. And he's looking at been out to Panama, and I was 4 years in Panama, my first duty station. So man, this is just going to be an amazing conversation.
Let's do it, man. Let's dive in.
Awesome. Where you at in the world today? Where are you at physically right now?
Right now in Pensacola, Florida, the northwest tip of Florida, right there in the Panhandle. Absolutely gorgeous, right next to Gulf Shores, Alabama, Orange Beach, Alabama. Destin, Florida is not far, and Tallahassee's not far. Panama City Beach. It's a really nice area. We've been here for about 2 years now, and we kind of want to stick around for a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool too, because we were talking pre-show, my wife and I were just talking last night about, possibly getting some sort of vacation property, either on an island somewhere. And she actually mentioned up in that area of Florida, even though we're in Florida, to have a little property closer to the beach, because I'm in Riverview, Tampa. It's not far from the beach, but not nearly as close as we were when we lived in Hawaii. So we do like living really close to the water.
Yeah, I mean, and being originally from Chicago and kind of going all over the map in the military, this is where a type of climate I would really like. We're on the water and on the Gulf, and as much as the hurricanes like scaring people away, the cool thing about hurricanes, man, you get plenty of preparation and time, and to either get out of town or prepare for yourself to bunker down. And like I said, I think we were going to stick around for a little bit. It's a nice long summer, and winters aren't that bad at all, especially compared to up north where I'm from, man. So.
Yeah, I totally get that. I born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, where I had plenty of beach, just no water.
Yeah, that's right.
But one of the things when we were considering, to call our kind of forever home, I'm using air quotes because we never really know. We're so used to moving all the time. So I think we're going to stick around in Florida for a while. But one of the big things that deterred me from moving out this way, having never lived out here before, was just that, the hurricanes. I never dealt with anything like that. But, out here in this area where I'm at, we get the high winds and stuff. It's no big deal. But over there, we were thinking, even if we were to get like a vacation property or something like that, we're not going to have all of our valuables and stuff in there. If it gets blown away, we have insurance. That's what insurance is for. So
totally, man. Yeah. There's always ways to work around those things and kind of work through them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to start out with an attitude of gratitude, brother. What do you have to be grateful for today? I'm guessing quite a bit.
I literally wake up every single morning, and before I even do anything else, I thank God above us, for another day, for allowing me to get through the night with some great sleep. And I'm waking up to my beautiful wife, and usually our guard dog is usually snuggling right in between us. He's a big fat 4-pound Yorkie. And just give him a couple kisses and snuggle him a little bit, and I just wake up every morning in such an attitude of gratitude, and I think that's critical to obtaining a life of abundance, which is why we're here. So
let's dig into that a little bit. What does that really do for you, waking up like that, and what does that do for the rest of your day, and how do you think that really makes an impact in your life?
To be honest with you, I don't know how much I could dive into that and kind of dissect how or why. But it's just being thankful for what you have. It's just it's just a sense of humility and saying, life could be so much worse, man. Like the life that some people live, even in this ever changing and abundant America that we have, people are always going to be complaining. There's always going to be, negativity. There's always going to be so many people that have every single thing they want, but they just have that mindset that they're entitled and that they, the world owes them something. But if you just understand these couple things, and that you have to actually work hard and focus to obtain a life of abundance and success, and at the same time just be blessed and so thankful for everything that you have presented in front of you. I don't know how, but it's been working for me a couple years, and I wish I had a better answer to dive a little deeper, but it's just God's blessing us every single day, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally dig it. That's a perfect answer, man. Because you know what, guys, sometimes we tell you to do things like this because we're going to get into, his rituals later on, but so many people that are high performers and just living the life of their dreams and their life of abundance, whatever that is for them individually, there's clues, there's patterns, and so many of us do similar things. And it always cracks me up, it kind of pains me really when I'm talking to people that are not living the life that they want, and when you give them suggestions, little things like this to do, they kind of scoff at it, and it's like, well, you see, that's probably why you won't live the life of your dreams, because you're not willing to follow the clues that are right there in front of you.
I think people overthink it. They think there's like some secret or some deep down, code or formula, but these things are very simple. It's what we are talking about right now, what you could hear on podcasts, what you could read in books and listen to on Audibles. People, successful people interview. They literally are spilling the secrets to success and success habits. And if you just emulate that, and you are consistent with it, small progress every single day, you are going to see progress, and your life is gonna essentially change. And there's no secret, there's no formula. It's all out there. The content and the step-by-step blueprints are out there, how to attain success and how to change that mindset from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset. And you just got to do it. You just got to say, I could do this. And then let's just start taking some small steps every single day, man. That's it.
Yeah. It does start with the decision. And I have this conversation on a regular, people say, well, changing your life starts with a decision. Well, yeah, but changing your life really starts with the decision. But in order to actually change your life, wherever that is, family, faith, finances, fitness, we're going to talk a lot about finances here today as well. But it takes action. You can read all the books in the world, listen to all the podcasts, gather all the content, blogs, you name it. Until you start taking action, and it's something as simple as waking up with an attitude of gratitude, that's taking action, then that's when your life's really going to make a big difference, and you're going to notice it. And it's not an overnight thing, but it takes time, but you have to take the action. You have to do the steps.
Couldn't agree more, man. And for a lot of people, it requires being uncomfortable. It requires getting off the couch, getting out of your car, getting, out of behind your desk and building relationships with people and going to conferences and networking and putting yourself out there and promoting and branding yourself properly. And a lot of people have fear that that people are going to either misinterpret their message or judge them. And I tell you what, anybody who judges you for getting out there and breaking out of your comfort zone, you don't want them in your life anyway. And you kind of need to unfriend them anyway if they're in your social media platforms. And if they can't stand by you, if you're confident in your mission and your message, and you kind of just take an action and you're exposing yourself properly to yourself, then anybody who doesn't want to follow you, you kind of got to let them go. And unfortunately, sometimes that's your close friends, and sometimes it's your family too. So you don't want those people holding you down. They're just going to be anchors anyway, and you don't want to be surrounding yourself with those types of people.
Absolutely correct. I mean, it's not that you have to completely shun them, but you do have to move on, man. One of the things that you mentioned there that is a big hot point for me is conferences. And, so many people, they want to excel and they just refuse to attend and invest in their future by going to conferences. And I'll give you a perfect example, and I'd love for you to share your thoughts on this as well. But I've listened to Tony Robbins for years. I've watched his videos. I've listened to him on cassette. It's just something that, and not just Tony Robbins, many others. But I'm just using Tony as a perfect example because here back in November, I had the opportunity to go to Unleash the Power Within, which is a Tony Robbins event. It's a 4-day event, and you're there with him basically 3 out of the 4 days. 12, 13-hour days. And the thing is when he was up on stage, and I was literally right by the stage, I could almost feel his breath in my face. He was saying the same exact thing that I've heard time and time again on his cassettes, videos, DVDs, you name it. But the difference is the energy and the networking that I had and the energy from all the other people and from Tony, and just getting all that information and being part of the experience was just so much more powerful. Even though I was waiting for the tape to, the cassette to end or whatever, the video to end, but he was still right there in my face. It's just so important to get to these events live. And even sometimes they broadcast some of these events over webinars and you can watch them from home, but there's nothing like being there in those environments and with those people. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually had a very, very, very similar conversation last night. As I was doing a Facebook Live, on one of my platforms, and my partners and I went to the Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con this past weekend in Miami. I saw that. And it's just like you said, man, it's when you put thousands of like-minded people in the same room who essentially want to change the world and make themselves better every day and want to add value to this world and make other people better and make other people grow. There is an energy that is unbelievable, and you can't explain it until you go experience it. Not only is that energy there, just being around that energy will just get you up to that, a couple more notches towards your goal of success, but your networking opportunities and connecting with people and how you could collaborate and share ideas and do business together. And then when you have speakers like John Maxwell and freaking Steve Harvey and Ty Lopez and obviously Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone and all their whole list of people that they had, it's just nothing but a fire hose of amazing information that if you harness it properly, that is your you could use that as your trajectory to success. And all you got to do is focus a little bit and again, make that commitment, make that decision that you're committed to living a life of abundance and success and kind of just following what people before us did. But yeah, man, I'm already looking forward to my next conference, and I unfortunately have never been to a Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. I'm a huge fan, but I've never seeked it out to confirm a seat in one of his. But I think I'm going to write that down right now to make sure I check out his tour and see when he's coming around here next, because I got to get there.
Yeah, for sure. Either Unleash the Power Within or Date with Destiny, and another one that would greatly benefit you is the Business Mastery.
Oh, yeah.
And at any of those events, he offers huge discounts for anybody who's already attended one event to a package deal to get into all the other events. So it's really cool, man. Great stuff. And yeah, I'm sure that Grant Cardone, I saw on your podcast, the After Action Report. I haven't listened to that one yet, but we're going to get into the other one that I absolutely loved that I just recently listened to on your podcast. We'll get into in a minute. But before we do, how would you describe yourself, Tim?
I always known that I've just been a little odd and a little different. I've had a different mindset, but I know I'm a very positive individual. I'm a very optimistic individual. I think that's critical. Positive mental attitude is actually absolutely crucial. I'm very very committed to my goals, and I have very ambitious goals and things that I want to accomplish, and I want to bring everybody that I know like with me on the journey. And for a while that was a problem because some people just don't have that kind of commitment. They don't have that vision. And that's when I realized I had to let some of my friends kind of go and not really, talk to them as much as I was. It's really all about who you surround yourself with. And that's going to make or break your success. And, I'm very passionate. I'm very creative. I've been a musician all my life, and I'm just very committed and and faithful. And yeah, I mean, it's outgoing. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. I love learning about people and their past and what they've done, and sharing ideas with successful people. And I know the sky's the limit in this life, and I'm gonna be the last person to put a limit, on myself. So there's no limitation, man. The sky is the freaking limit for whatever you guys want to achieve. And I think, luckily now I'm at the point where that's like innate. Like I know that's just a habit, and nothing's gonna stop me from achieving my goals.
Yeah, you've brought up a couple times stepping away from your close friends and to move on and get down your own path and get on with your own life. And that's not easy to do, especially in the military while you're still active duty, because you're with your team all the time. Listen, guys, for those of you who have nothing to do with the military, never have, we're not all special forces teams and SEAL teams. We go to work just like everybody else, just a regular job, depending on whatever our job occupation is. But it's a much closer knit community than it is to go work for any regular company out there. I just know this because I've been on both sides.
Yeah, that totally. I mean, and the cool thing is with the military, the one benefit is that most of the people, at least for the Navy, I'm senior enlisted in the Navy. In the Navy, you're usually not stuck in one place for more than 3, 4, 5 years at the most. You're always going to transition to another command. So if you're not really getting along very well with people, or you're chain of command, or you're just not, you don't feel, it's always temporary. You're always going to go to a next command. You'll have another chance to build, more relationships and stuff. And the other thing is, like, if it's your friends or your family from back home who are your anchors, who are holding you down, you're away. You're at a command in the military, and obviously the military mindset is great to an extent, but there's certain people in the military that are still poisonous, of course. Right. But again, that's where you gotta get to know people and be interested in other people, be genuinely interested in other people to know them and understand them and what they stand for, so you could really gravitate to the right niche.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. And quite frankly, as much as I love my high school buddies and the people I grew up with, part of the reason why I joined the military was to get away from them and to get away from a very destructive lifestyle that I was in. And it was weird at the time, but now we're all much older. They're like, dude, you did the best thing ever, man. Me and a couple other guys got out that way.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Doing what you do, and we're going to get into more what you're doing other than the military, because I just dig the whole financial ideas and real estate and all that, because it's just wonderful. But one of the things that I like to get into that everybody has is this kick in the gut moment. And I get into this because for those of you who haven't been listening, and this is your first episode, I get into this kick in the gut moment because we all have them. It's what we do and what we learn from them that really sometimes changes the entire trajectory of our life, or at least gives us something else to think about and think maybe we do need to make some changes. So in any case, either professional or personal, share a kick in the gut moment with us, Tim, and really make us feel that.
Man, there was a lot.
I'm sure.
Like growing up, especially before the military, going through high school or whatever, and there weren't that many. I was, 3-sport athlete, and I was pretty focused and always had long-term girlfriends or whatever. And then, I went to college out of high school, and that's where I kind of had my sense of freedom, and I decided to party and not take advantage of it. And then, that didn't work out. And then after I got out of that, then I kind of thought I was going to play music for the rest of my life. I was in a band, and we were playing and we were touring, and then that didn't work out. And then, so there's a bunch of kick in the gut moments, I think, for the type that you're asking about. But I think the one for me, which was like a transitional turning point, was actually on a deployment in 2014, and I've always been passionate about personal finance and just building wealth and just financial education, because of course financial education doesn't exist in our society, in our school system whatsoever, and I hate that, and I want to change that. And so I've always just been interested in reading more and more about personal finance. And then I had an epiphany, like, I could become financially free. All I have to do is this and this and this. And I think that was like a kick in the gut. Like, wow, I need to start doing something about it. And then I think, there's so many kick in the gut moments that I think a lot of us do growing up, high school, teenage years, early 20s, before your real adulthood, you learn who you are and what you're all about. I had a bunch of those kick in the gut moments, but I think that one kick in the gut moment for me and why I'm doing what I'm doing now, and really that life of abundance, was that turning point where I read a couple books, while I was on deployment, and I realized that I could achieve financial freedom and live a life of abundance and give back to the world and not trade my time for dollars like most people think that they have to, and they think they don't have a choice. So I'm blessed for that kick in the gut moment, indeed.
Excellent. And what were those books that were the catalyst for that?
So the very first one, actually, I'm not a huge fan of Dave Ramsey because of everything I learned now, but the Dave Ramsey, his Total Money Makeover book is really a great book for people which most of us don't have a financial education because we're just not taught one. But if you're in lots of debt, if you're in piles of debt and you have zero financial education and you're financially illiterate, like, again, most people are, don't feel bad if you think you are, because you probably are, then the Total Money Makeover is really, really a great step-by-step baby process of how to get out of debt. But once you have no consumer debt and you have, 3 to 6 months of your living expenses parked in a money market savings account, once you have that, then you kind of have to move on. And then I stumbled across the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book by Robert Kiyosaki. And, I assume most of your listeners have heard about it. That's the one reason why I'm doing real estate deals now and why I've started a bunch of businesses. And Rich Dad Poor Dad is just probably the number one financial book, sold, the most copies sold at any other financial book, because it's a game-changing mindset book. It teaches you what the rich and wealthy teach their kids that the poor and middle class don't. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and what you choose to do with the savings and putting your actual extra savings into assets that produce income, and then spending your money on the cash flow instead of what poor and middle class do. They usually spend and spend and spend, and then if there's any money left over, they save. And if there is any money left over, they save. They don't know what to do with investing because they have a 9 to 5 rat race that they're going through. So they usually give their money to a financial advisor who is seriously has no financial responsibility or fiduciary responsibility to their clients. So, I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole that we can go into. I'm clearly very passionate about that stuff, but yeah, to answer your question, Total Money Makeover, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Cash Flow Quadrant is another one by Robert Kiyosaki, essentially the sequel to that one. And then, of course, Think and Grow Rich is another one. And man, there are so many. I'm reading another one right now, called Your Money or Your Life. And it's just this type of stuff I love reading about, man.
No, I do too, man. It's good, really, really good stuff. And then when you get even further along, guys, a couple books is Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Much, much deeper. It gets into insurance. It gets into so much more. We can get more into that stuff later. But listen, if you have not read, first off, just like Tim said, in the military, Dave Ramsey has been graceful, is that right? Gracious enough to offer his course to a lot of chaplains in the military. They get access to his course, and they offer courses on military installations to people who are in that situation. Look, I was $30,000 in credit card debt twice trying to build some sort of business. Credit card debt. $30,000, and I got out twice. The second time I got out because of Dave Ramsey's teachings and books and that course that they offer in the military, that chaplains offer, and you go after work or whatever. So look for stuff like that. I agree with you that I don't agree with the never have a credit card bit that Dave talks about. It's just not practical. I literally just had this conversation Tuesday with another guest for the show. So you'll hear me talking about that if you haven't heard that episode already. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was one of the first books that was the biggest eye-opener. And it's such an easy read because it's written in story form. And it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I got to tell you, man, I'm super envious of you. I'm very rarely envious of anybody. But you had a conversation with Robert Kiyosaki. And that was simply amazing, man. Episode 64. of your podcast, Active Duty Passive Income. Absolutely brilliant. How'd that come about?
Man, it's so, being in real estate and yeah, active duty passive income is an incredible community where we teach and educate military members, whether you're active duty, you're a reservist, you're a vet, or you're a spouse. We educate and mentor all those individuals on how to achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. And really blowing up now. We're getting a lot of exposure. We wrote a best-selling book called Military House Hacking, which is a great strategy that a lot of people don't take advantage of their VA loan to use. Most people are very uneducated about their VA loan. So and then you can get that best-selling book for free right now on our website, a free e-copy, or you can go to Amazon and buy the paperback for like $7 or $8. So then now we have this podcast and people are kind of catching on to what we're doing, and people are really liking our mission and what we're doing and the technology that we have behind us in order to reach thousands of people. And so our goal by the end of this year was to get Robert Kiyosaki on our podcast because, he was a big inspiration for all 5 of us guys who are the partners of Active Duty Passive Income. And, we actually got his real estate, or I'm sorry, his legal advisor, Garrett Sutton. We were able to get him on first through a relationship that we had. And then we were able to kind of confirm Tom Wheelwright, his CPA, both, best-selling authors. They have amazing platforms. Both of those individuals have amazing books. And so we had Tom Wheelwright confirmed. Then Robert kind of heard about this, and then his assistant, his booking agent that books his interviews and stuff, he reached out to us and said, "Hey, Robert has an availability tomorrow at 11 a.m. Could you guys fit him in?" We're like, "Yeah, we'll do anything. We'll do whatever it takes to get him, fit in." And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that he is a Marine. He's a vet. He's a Marine Corps pilot. He flew in Vietnam. And so that probably had a lot to do with it. And our CEO and founder of Active Duty Passive Income is also a Marine Corps helo pilot. So that probably had something to do with it. Plus we talk about real estate. He loves real estate and he loves the military. So it was kind of easy, for him to just want to, share and add value. But it was such an incredible discussion. And yeah, definitely check out that podcast, Active Duty Passive Income. I mean, we're about to get David Goggins. We're about to get Grant Cardone. We're actually shooting to get Donald Trump here by the end of this year too.
Yeah, I heard that, man. And I have no doubt that you guys will do it. And it's very interesting, guys, to unpack how he ended up getting Robert on the show, because he didn't go straight for the big gun, if you will. And that's, the way to do it. You get the other people that they're connected with. I'm one person removed from Les Brown, which is one of the guys that I really want to have a conversation with for the show or not, man. I just love Les Brown and others. I've talked to Grant Cardone's people as well. To get him on the show. It just didn't work out at the time. But, these guys are not unreachable, man. So do that. But let's unpack a little bit. And, oh, by the way, the conversation, guys, I'm going to have it all linked up in the show notes. But that conversation with Robert, I've heard many conversations with Robert Kiyosaki, and that one was very unique. I absolutely loved it. So I'll be listening to that one again. It was really good stuff. But over the course of my career, I had run into 2 guys that were later in their career, master sergeants, and it was kind of late in my career as well. But what they had been doing was they were retiring as millionaires, multimillionaires, in assets anyway, because what they had been doing was every time they PCS is a permanent change of station, every 3 to 4 or 5 years, whatever, they would buy a small little house that they could afford. And then they wouldn't flip it like you originally thought you were going to do with your first property. They kept it. They held it. And then over the course of their career, they had all this property, even some duplexes and all this other stuff. They had over $1 million in assets. They retired. I mean, kind of like I did recently too. But the reason why I'm able to retire is because I have no credit card debt. I have all that stuff's taken care of. My insurance is taken care of. All that stuff is good. But there's so many things to do that, especially if you're in the military, to use your VA loan to get property, acquire assets, and all the stuff that you learn in Rich Dad Poor Dad and the cash flow quadrant. But it's just, most people just won't do it. They just don't do it. So what are you finding, Tim, when you're working with people, and are you helping them do stuff like that and make those decisions? And how's that working out for you guys?
Man, I mean, that's it really is. It's attainable for a lot of people, and that's why I think a lot more people are realizing that now. And then they kind of go research it, and then they find us. They find active duty passive income, and we have this our own social media platform called Start the Spark, and it's free to get into. I mean, you're networking with us. You have direct access to the five guys on the team who have been there and done that, who are actively investing. Right. And then we have like a free VA loan mastery course. I'm telling you, this military house hacking book, this Amazon best-selling book is free right now. Go to our website and all five of us guys pretty much share like a little bit of our story. And then we share strategies that you could use to start building wealth at every single duty station and really harness it, whether you're deployed in Japan or whether you're on shore duty here in Pensacola like I am. You could just learn. All you need to do is learn a little bit, your basic financial foundation, and have that, like, that Dave Ramsey will help you do, and that I could help you do. And then you just get a little bit of real estate education, that's a key thing that we have. Active duty passive income has this amazing military real estate investing academy. It literally takes you from A to Z how to close on your first property. And not only do you have that curriculum, but you have guys like us helping you and coaching you and answering your questions along the way. And the one thing I want to say is be careful. A lot of people say, I'm going to buy a home, live in the home, and then I'll PCS and rent it out. You have to be careful, because a lot of times when you buy a home for retail price, it doesn't really work as a rental. The numbers don't work as a rental unless you get it under value or force appreciation into that asset by rehabbing it, or buying it under value and then letting it appreciation kind of take over. But you never want to buy any real estate based on your assumption of appreciation. You always want to buy where there's instant cash flow and instant equity. And even if you're living in the home, you can get 4 units with your VA loan. Most people have no idea you can get a fourplex with your VA loan, live in one unit, rent out the others, live for free, have your tenants pay your mortgage down, and you'll cash flow on top of that. Think about having saving your BAH, or saving what your mortgage payment would be, plus all your living expenses. You would save all that, plus you would stack capital on top, because your tenants you're paying you. They're giving you money to live in your property. And that's exactly what house hacking is. If for those who don't know what the house hacking strategy is, you buy a multifamily. Maybe it's just a duplex. You live in one unit, rent out the other, but you own the whole duplex, and you can cash flow, or at least have your other tenant pay for your mortgage or most of it. And that is one of the best strategies, I believe, that will help catapult you to the next level. It was the first strategy that I used. I use a 203K FHA loan, to buy 4 units. And that 203K loan simply means I was able to wrap the cost of rehab into a loan. I had the bank pay $100,000 worth of rehab costs, and I only had to put down 3.5% of the total loan amount. The property plus the $100,000 worth of rehab, and I only had to put down 3.5%. And so military house hacking is the name of that book. For those of you who are in the military, even if you're not, grab it, because there's a lot of cool strategies in that book, even if you're not active duty.
Man, that is absolutely huge. And one of the big selling points there, even though you can get the book for free, guys, get the darn book. Link up with Tim and his guys, because one of the biggest things I heard there that's a huge value, or has been for me anyway, was to have somebody there to kind of have your back. They're not going to be in the deal with you, but they're going to be able to help you. I had a mentor years ago. He called himself the mentor, and he primarily did lease options. And I bought his course, and I was at a deal, and I would get on the phone, I'd call him up, and I'd say, hey, here's the deal, here's the numbers. He goes, all right, go back in there, say this, and this, use this contract, and done deal. Bam, done. It's most people, you think it's too complicated, and it's really not, especially when you have somebody in your corner to be walking you through some of that stuff. Is that the extent that you help these guys with?
Oh man, I don't know if are you familiar with the Voxer app?
Yes.
Like the walkie-talkie app, mm-hmm. Right? So that's how we communicate. The 5 of us, we communicate. I mean, we exchange hundreds of messages every day on Voxer. And one of the programs that we offer, like, you go through this academy and you're starting to do your own deals, we offer a Voxer channel, like a private Voxer channel with the student, the military member, and then us 5. And then not only that, you actually have access to our very own CPA as well. in a private Voxer channel. And I don't think people realize the value of that. And like, if you have any questions, be like, hey, I stumbled across this. What do I do? Or how would you guys handle it? And boom, we're there. Like that day, that instant, we all get that message and we all give our feedback, like all 5 of us plus the CPA, and it's only growing. It's so yeah, we step by step mentor people who want to work with us.
The other thing about that is that I want to dive into that a little bit is I've heard over the years people say something like, well, those deals aren't available anymore because they're, this, that, and the other. Well, guys, I've been in this industry and in and out of this industry and at least watching it for over 20 years. And still today, Tim is talking about doing, buying these duplexes and fourplexes and whatever, and little apartment complexes and all kinds of stuff. The deals are still out there. What do you say about that, Tim?
Regardless, and most of the time, the people who say there's no deals out there is because they're either an unsuccessful investor or they've never invested. There's always opportunities. There are, whether it's a single family home that is a distressed property that you could leverage and maybe get into that asset while someone's in pre-foreclosure or going through probate or a tax deed or something. You just have to know where to look, and you have to know how to identify those opportunities. And I don't really mess with a whole lot of single family homes. I actually do have a partner now where we're doing some flips just to build up some capital and improve the community here in Pensacola. But my partners and I focus on multifamily deals in the affordable housing space, and we're looking primarily at apartment complexes and mobile home communities, 100 pad communities. And, we're always looking for deals, and we're always looking for partners, and we always come across really good deals, and there's so much money out there for these deals. It's just like whoever tells you that stuff, you just have to say, well, when's the last time you actually successfully transacted a real estate deal? 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, well, I never have. My uncle's wife's brother's mom told me that it's risky, something like that. It's just crazy. So you have to just not pay attention to those naysayers. It's just a baseline education that you need so you could identify the opportunities, and then surround yourself with people like us who want to help you and just make a commitment to improving yourself every day and improving your education, improving your physical fitness, improving your mindset every single day. And it's incredible what could come of that. And it's just literally sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. When I was just calculating, I was doing that 18 years ago, man, my last deal that I did. And I did it for about 3 or 4 years. And and then I lived in Hawaii. It's a whole different market out there. But it was interesting because what Claude would have me do, my mentor, I would just drive through neighborhoods, and when I'd see grass up high and newspapers in the driveway and whatever, those little flyers that they throw out, I would sit there in front of the property and I would get on some software that I had even 18, 19 years ago, and I would be able to get a phone number for the owner, call the owner, and basically make a deal right there over the phone, or at least set up an appointment to make a deal, because they had property that was unoccupied and they at least needed their principal interest, their PITI covered. I did every single one of my deals that I did, 7 deals. I put none of my own money down. I had somebody else, either the tenant buyer, come in and put the money down. If they wanted the money down, the owner, it was coming out of the tenant buyer's pocket, not mine. And then I was just controlling the property and making money in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. So, and that's just one of many strategies that you can use to acquire property, buy it, lease it, you name it. So excellent, man. It's so powerful to have somebody in your corner to walk you through that kind of stuff, especially somebody who's done so many deals.
Yeah, and you said it, man. That was 15 to 20 years ago that you were using software and having other people's money into your deals, and now just it's been an exponential growth of the amount of people who want to get into real estate, but they just don't know how. And there's millions of dollars out there in capital, whether it's in home equity or 401ks or just savings or checkings accounts, that people want someone like you. If you're considering getting into real estate, they are waiting for someone like you to say, hey, I have this amazing investment opportunity. My friends and I put together this incredible opportunity, and we're investing in this apartment apartment building or this mobile home park in this desirable market, we are looking for 100K, and we're offering these incredible returns. What is your interest level, and what is your comfort zone, and how much would you like to invest and contribute? And they are just waiting for people like that to present a deal to them, because a lot of times they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time or energy to go seek those deals or to put their own deal together. So if you got the time and energy and you're looking for how to structure a deal, there is unlimited capital out there. It's unbelievable.
I love what you're doing. Absolutely love what you're doing, man. So what are some good news stories coming out of that?
Man, good news. There's good news every single day, man. We have these amazing ideas. My partners and I who are taking down these big trailer communities and these big mobile home communities. We have good ideas. We make connections every day, and then, within the active duty passive income platform, every single day there's great ideas. There's new relationships being built, new people that have confirmed they could be on our podcast, and we're starting to do deals on our own as a group too, where we got a couple deals that we're about to put under contract. And so it's funny that you say that, and another small turning point when I was in the military was when I decided to become a command financial specialist. And in the Navy, every command has a command financial specialist coordinator. Mm-hmm. And then within every department, there should be a command financial specialist, or about, one per department. Let's say on a ship or something. And those command financial specialists get to go to just a quick little 1-week course, and how to screen somebody, how to analyze their debt to income ratio, and how to analyze their income and expenses and net worth and all that stuff. And most people will never even come close to even getting that much education. And then I had some epiphanies when I got the opportunity to sit down with some sailors and Marines on one of my last deployments when I was a command financial specialist, to talk to them, whether they were in trouble, whether they were getting in deeper and deeper in debt, or whether they had to come see me because, if you're transitioning to a special program or special duty, you have to get a command financial specialist to screen your finances. And I realized, just talking to these people, almost no one had any financial education or had any idea what their expenses were, what their net worth was, whether they had a surplus or a deficit at the end of the month, after their expenses were paid. And obviously most people didn't even invest in the TSP, the thrift savings plan, nor did they have any idea what any kind of other investment vehicles were out there for them. So then I'm like, all right, look, I get it. These people don't. And then that's where I got motivation to just read and read and read and educate myself more and more and more and more. And that's how I stumbled across real estate, because real estate literally just makes more people financially free and millionaires and super wealthy than any other investment vehicle, and anybody can get into real estate. You can, there's going to be gurus out there that tell you that you can get into real estate with no money or low money or no credit, and sure, that's possible. But, if you want to wholesale a deal where you really don't need money, you're kind of just putting a deal under contract in order to flip the contract or charge a wholesale fee and wholesale it to an end buyer. So you really don't need a whole lot of money. But again, you need to market and you need to drive for dollars and look for deals. So you do need capital. So number one, get your financial foundation established before you even consider investing in real estate. And what that means is figure out how to have no consumer debt, have those credit cards that pay you nice rewards. Make sure you're paying them off in full every single month. Make sure you have 3 to 6 months of expenses, inside of a money market or a savings account to take care of an emergency fund for your family. And then you start stacking up an investment account, and that, the wealthiest and the richest people on our planet don't have 401ks or IRAs. They have businesses that they invest in or that they own, and they have real estate that they invest in or that they own, because those are income producing assets. Over time, they grow and appreciate, and over time they produce monthly cash flow, and that is how real wealth is built.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, I say this all the time. This is one of my pet peeves. The real story, regardless of what you've been told your whole life and what you may hear in the media or even in movies, because they tell the wrong story. The real reason why the wealthy get wealthier, the rich get richer, whatever term you want to use, there is a big difference in those two terms, and the poor get poorer, is because of fiscal education and how they spend their money, where they put their money. It's education. It's all about education and applying that information, applying that education. So absolutely positive, correct, man. Thanks for sharing that. And we are at the point where we are going to pay it forward. You ready to do that?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Oh, awesome. Well, you already shared some freaking amazing tips, man. But if you could share 1 to 3 actionable steps that men of abundance can take today.
Every day, work on you. Every single day, whether, and when I say work on you, I'm saying dedicate eight straight hours to improving yourself. I'm saying every single day, dedicate a block of time, whether it's in the morning, whether you get up earlier than the world because the minute 9 a.m. hits or 8:30 or 8 a.m. hits, you get calls, you get emails, you get text messages. All right. Find that time before working hours or after working hours, if you have like a W-2 9 to 5 job, to focus on you. Wake up early in the morning, pray, or just bless God or thank whoever the higher power is that you believe in, that you have what you have. Thank him for another day that you could walk and that you could breathe and that you could help other people. Work on yourself, your physical fitness. Eat clean because you're going to improve your mentation, your memory, your energy levels are going to go up, your confidence is going to go up. Everything falls into place when you get up and wake up and you put out first thing in the morning and you get it and you grind out and get out of your comfort zone first thing in the morning. It sets your day up better than anything else. And then that other block of time you used to just listen to these types of podcasts or read a chapter of a book or listen to an audible on the way to work that is inspiring, that's educational in whatever field or industry you want to go to. And then before your bed that night, take 30 minutes, 45 minutes to review what you will accomplish the next day. And I do this by simply time blocking in my calendar 15 to 30 minute to 1 hour blocks of time. This is, during from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'm going to pray and I'm going to get ready for my workout. From 6 to 7:30, I'm going to go and crush my workout in the gym. From 7:30 to 8, I'm going to listen to an audible. From, 8:30 to 9, I might be at work, at meetings, doing what I got to do. But time block, set yourself up for the best possible day to crush the freaking day. You control your day. No one else controls your day. You control it, but you have to dedicate time to you every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. Time blocking is huge for me. And every time I take on a new client, I'm working with somebody, I ask them right up front, show me your calendar. And 9 times out of 10, they have a bunch of junk on their calendar, if anything at all. And
right.
One of the things I have guys do right away personally, this is just a personal thing, is family time. You actually have to time block your family time. I say put that up there first, because that's me personally, because this was a big mistake in my past. Is everything was about making money, and trying to create a better life. And a lot of you guys know that story, but you got to put that stuff. And I time block not just the time, but there's certain days when I do certain things. There's my podcast days, like today. Tuesdays and Thursdays are podcast days where I'm basically interviewing and I'm working on my podcast, and various other things. And then of course I got to time block my Disney time too. That's important to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, because if you look at your calendar, it really shows what's most important to you, and your family should come first, or very, very, very high up in the priority list. And that's the same thing, man. My wife and I have our time where we dedicate at least 1 hour of the day whenever we're both home to just sit and talk, sit next to each other, whether it's just during dinner and we're watching TV together, or whether we just have a conversation to improve our marriage. And it's so important, man. Wally, I'm glad you brought that up because that's critical.
Absolutely, man. So we already talked about quite a few of your rituals. Are there any other rituals that make a big impact in your life?
Kind of like that morning routine that I already ran through, like waking up, just being grateful, just, thanking God that in that attitude of gratitude, you already are time blocked for the day. So you already know exactly what you're going to accomplish that next day. And then just, splashing your face with freezing cold water the second you wake up, pounding back some cold water, drinking it, within the first 10 to 15 minutes that you wake up. Getting a workout in as early as possible, breaking out of your comfort zone first thing in the morning will set your day up amazing. Like I finished my workout probably like 20, 30 minutes before I hopped on this call. And, that's one reason why my energy is always peak, in the morning going through the most of the day. And I have super high energy throughout the day. And my wife and I have actually been plant-based for like the last 2 years, and we've been vegan, and that's just been an incredible life-changing thing for us, because the amount of hormones that are in meats and dairies, in our world, that are in rotation day in America, are gross. If you even had any idea what you were putting into your body, it's just being knowledgeable of yourself, your nutrition, your wellness, your mindset. Mindset is literally everything. You have to wake up and figure out how you can improve your mindset every single day. And, that's just the morning routine, man. I have my day time block, so I know exactly what I'm going to do. And not only is it a reminder that, look, you got to do this, so I don't have to waste brain space. Oh, what did I have to do at 1? What did I have to do at 3? It's already on my calendar. And there's a 15-minute reminder for me that goes off. And then plus it's like on there, so I have to do it. It's just like psychologically, I have to do it. It's on my calendar. I'm going to get it done, whatever it is. So, I mean, yeah, it's really important. I mean, these things sound so simple, but if you just stick to it and you're consistent, small baby steps, we're not asking you to take massive baby steps or take massive action. We're asking you to take small, very consistent steps, and you're persistent with it. And it's just a game changer if you just do these little things every single day.
Man, that is, again, guys, there's clues. Pretty much everything that Tim just mentioned is 100% my ritual. I brush my teeth, ice cold water right in my face, first thing in the morning, tall glass of cold water with some lemon juice in it, some Himalayan pink salt, ride the bike to school with my little guy, go to the fitness center. I mean, it's just one after the other. One thing is I did do about 23 days of 100% plant-based, and I felt just freaking amazing. My problem is I like meat. So, and
of course, man, I love meat for sure.
So, we try to do we really do spend extra money on, as far as we're told anyway, the best meat that we can get. But I'll tell you, the thing is when my wife was in Panama, she was there for 2 or 3 weeks this last time. And because of the habits there, and this is just the difference of living in another country, guys, is they basically do their shopping every day or every other day. They don't hold a whole lot of stuff in their refrigerator, which is a whole other issue. They're eating fresh vegetables, fruits, and even meats every single day. And they're eating the stuff that is seasonal. You can get stuff here out of season, vegetables and fruits and stuff out of season because of, what do you call it, all the different strategies that they use to prolong, shelf life for these type of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, the preservatives that they put in there for sure.
Exactly. They're not the right color. They don't have the nutrition value, this whole bit. So she was so much healthier just in that 3 weeks. She could feel it. And I could see it in her when she returned. Just the skin was better, the hair was better, the whole bit. So what Tim was talking about with your nutrition, just be cognizant about what it is that you're putting in your body. Bottom line is we stay out of any of the aisles in the grocery store that, contain boxes and bags. We very, very rarely eat stuff like that.
Yeah, man, for sure. I love it. And I think, at first, I think we went like almost a full year straight vegan. No, we didn't deviate. And now I'm kind of like 90%, 10% plant-based because, when I'm in Panama or, when we go down to the Keys or when we go, to another country, I'm going to eat meats or really good fresh catches or fish. Mm-hmm. And I love seafood. Like down in Miami this past weekend, I went to Estefan's Kitchen, one of Gloria Estefan's restaurants in Miami. Amazing place. And there was a seafood plate that I had to get with juca fries and so, but I'm like 95% plant-based. And then those times where I treat myself, it's that much better because I don't eat that crap every single day. It's just, I enjoy it once in a while, but 90 to 95% of the time I'm plant-based, which simply just means no meat and no dairy. But man, there's some restaurants and there are some, from Publix or wherever you shop, I guarantee you that the nicer, higher end stores have tons of plant-based options. Even Walmart has some plant-based stuff like dairy-free ice cream and obviously almond milk and different plant-based meats that you can substitute that you will never know, like meatballs and sausage and stuff that you'll never know is not meat because it tastes just like meat, but there's no meat. It's just all plants.
So we already mentioned some amazing book, Cash Flow Quadrant, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, and Dave Ramsey's stuff. What would you recommend that our abundant leaders read or listen to, and why?
Oh man, there are so many good ones. I think, you know, one of the most game-changing books. I'd be willing to bet thousands of dollars that you've read this, but How to Win Friends and Influence People.
It's right here on my
You know,
bookshelf. I've had
there
my
you go.
kids read
Me,
it.
me, me too, man. Dale Carnegie.
Hmm.
That was a game changer for me. And the things that he talks about are such basic communication skills, how to talk to people, how to treat people, how to lead people. If you haven't read or listened to How to Win Friends or Influence People, and you are interested in becoming successful or living a life of abundance, this is almost a required reading. Okay. By Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's just the basic things. And like the biggest takeaways from that book, I can summarize it in friggin' a minute, is when you're talking to people, be genuinely interested in them. Listen to them, what they're saying. Ask questions about them and their family. And that is how you get people to like really gravitate to you and like you. And then they're going to say, well, what do you do? And you know, what are you about? And then that's where you have your 15 to 20-second elevator pitch and say, hey, you know, my name is Tim Kelly. My partners and I invest in multifamily property across the north and across the Midwest and Southeast, and we're looking at apartment complexes, whatever your pitch is, to talk about who you are and exactly what you do and exactly what you're looking for, to get that, be genuinely interested in people, and listen to people when they talk. Don't talk to respond, and you know, ask another question. Like, talk to, or don't listen to respond, but listen to actually listen. And it's incredible. And just praising people in public and looking them in the face when you shake their hand, and just like those basic principles, is one thing that he talks about. And that's one of them. I mean, I got a whole list, but that's been a game changer for me.
What do you think holds most people back from living a life of true abundance?
That's easy. That's themselves. It's their mindset, man. You know,
Yeah.
people strive for certain goals and they put a cap on it. They put a limit on it. Even if they even are striving for something or striving for that life of abundance, um, and that fear and that limitation comes from either other people that's saying, oh, you'll never be able to accomplish that. Even if it's like, close family members or your friends or whatever, whoever it is, coworkers saying, oh, you'll never be able to do that. You think you're crazy. You think you could buy, 1,000 units of income producing real estate in 3 years? That's crazy. Oh yeah. Well, I'll show you. You know what I mean? Like, so, and listening to those people will have an influence on what you can fathom that you can do yourself. So you're the only one that will put a limit on your goals and what you could achieve. You could achieve anything you possibly want. Okay. Like, and right now it's even more fresh in my head because I'm listening to Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And this dude is absolutely incredible. Well, you've read that book or listened to that book, right?
Yeah, I've listened to that book. In fact, I just finished it last week, and I'm going to go through it again. And just a real quick short note since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Guys, get the audio version because David, and I forget the name of the guy that's reading it and helped him write the book, they have started they've taken audiobooks to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm. They do interviews in between each
Yeah, it's
chapter.
like a podcast slash audiobook, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like a little bit halfway through it now, and I'm taking my time with it. If I get distracted, I stop it and rewind it. And, I usually do it while I'm driving, and it's just an amazing, amazing story. He's just an incredible. He was a chief petty officer, Navy SEAL, went through BUD/S 3 times, which is the most elite, physically demanding training on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he's like, I thought I attained everything. And then he started doing ultra marathons and 100-mile races and 150-mile races, and with no training. Like, he did a 100-mile ultra marathon with no freaking training. This dude is just a machine. And he realized one day, he looked into the mirror, and he calls that the accountability mirror. And you are the only person that can change and obtain the success that you want. You don't, you're not entitled to anything. You got to dig deep. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to figure out, who you want to put yourself around that will help you that'll help you get to the next level. But the only time the biggest battle every single day that you have is with yourself and the limitations that you put on yourself. So yeah, I mean, that's what stops people from success is themselves. And I think that right there will prevent people from seeking the basic education that they need to become successful, and deciding and committing to the life of abundance, because for a lot of people think that they can't for whatever reason. And you can't say that. You have to say, you never ever say I can't do this. You have to change your mindset and change your vocabulary to how can I do this? And then these other neurons in your brain are going to fire off and you're going to figure out how. And just don't let anything stop you. Do not be the person to stop you from achieving your goals, because that is the number one thing that prevents people from attaining their goals, is themselves and their self-doubt.
Great book. I'm glad you brought that one up because it's fresh on my mind too. But listen, guys, other people, don't let other people tell you that, because all they're doing is they're telling you their limitations, their own limitations they have on themselves. They're trying to project that onto you. You are not them. So I'm just absolutely know you're living an amazing life of abundance. That's why I invited you on to have a conversation with me for Men of Abundance. But what does living a life of abundance mean to you, Tim?
Oh man, it means that the more abundant of a life I am, the more I could give and the more I could add value to this world. And, God is going to bless the men, with the most abundance, who prove to him that they will be the best stewards of their finances and that abundance, so they could improve the value of this universe, and they could give back, they could educate, they could teach, they could give to charities, they could do whatever they want. And just it's all about freedom, and that's my why. And we didn't really talk about that a whole lot. And a lot of times you need a really strong foundational why. Why do I want a life of abundance? Why? Well, for me, is because it's free. It's a life of freedom. And, I could be free from the rat race of working a 9-to-5 job, exchanging my time for money, so I can spend my time educating people on personal finance and educating people on how to get into real estate so they could achieve financial freedom, and going to speak around the world and going to play my drums and going, to play music around the world and to listen to music around the world. Freedom is really my why. And so I could bless my family by generation and generation and generation after me, to teach them this is a real life of abundance. And that's I mean, I hope I answered your question.
You did. Absolutely answered it wonderfully, man. One thing that I want to touch on, because I get this quite a bit, is, it doesn't take loads and loads of money to have the life of freedom that you desire. And it's all about what you want. Don't let other people put on you what freedom is. You don't need $1 million. You don't need to be a billionaire. I bring in pretty good money, but the bottom line is I don't have the debt. I have streams of income coming in. I have insurance. I have life insurance, health insurance, all this kind of stuff. All these things are what's important to be able to make the decision, if you choose to do so, to not work for anybody else ever again. I will never have to work for somebody else ever again. I guarantee that, because one of my streams of income that I have, and also because I'm constantly growing and I'm constantly learning more.
That's right, man. You nailed it, dude, for sure.
All right, brother, we are going to close this up, man. But before we do, what did we not talk about that you want to ensure our abundant leaders get out of our conversation today? Of course, we will certainly have the timothykelly.com linked up in the show notes. But how else would you like for our guys to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just that website is pretty much has all the links and direct access to me, whether it's via email, and I don't even mind giving out my personal cell phone number, because those are the action takers, and those are the people who are really looking to get to the next level. And, I didn't even mention that not only am I kind of full-time active duty, I'm building a legacy and an empire of all kinds of real estate, but then I'm also teaching with active duty passive income and mentoring and coaching. But I also do my own coaching for, select people who are really looking to get to the next level. And that one-on-one coaching right there involves financial foundation, the stuff that we talked about. And a lot of times it's so they can get into business or real estate. So I do one-on-one coaching everywhere from the financial foundation beginning stages all the way up to how do you raise capital to take down a large real estate, deal. And right now I'm offering anybody who is on Wally's, part of Wally's community and his listeners on Men of Abundance, I'm offering you guys a deep discount right now on my coaching. So do not hesitate to reach out to me, area code 847-910-9161. You could simply just shoot me a text or give me a call. I'm very autonomous. If I don't, answer immediately, I'll get right back to you. Just leave a message or shoot me a text. Go to thetimothykelly.com. Go to my Instagram at thetimothykelly.com, LinkedIn at thetimothykelly.com, or on Facebook. It's just Tim Kelly, and the one that pops up, with water survival instructor and senior managing partner of Kelly Housing Group. That's me. But any way you want, man, follow me and let's get to know each other. And I'd love to help you get to the next level. Just let me know how I can do that.
Absolutely wonderful, man. Thanks for sharing that. And guys, I will have, as usual, all of that linked up in the show notes at menofabundance.com. Just search Kelly, Tim Kelly. Episode will pop right up, man. And again, man, just thanks for all the wisdom. Thanks for the amazing conversation. Brother, go out, live your life of abundance, and just keep paying it forward, man.
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me, dude. It was such an honor, and I look forward to building our relationship and meeting up in Tampa next time I'm down there.
For sure, man. I might even get up that way sometime. We'll see.
Do it.
Awesome. Take care.
Cool.
All right, guys. So your action steps today are to get your finances under control. Even back when I was a first sergeant and I would sit down with soldiers who had some financial issues, and we would sit down with the financial specialist in the organization, or I would sit down with them myself, and we would go over their basic finances. Most of them had no idea where their money was being spent. And I'm not talking about that they didn't know what their spouse was spending. They themselves did not know how much money they personally were spending because of all of these different subscription programs you can be a part of, everything from Netflix to book clubs to you name it. I mean, all of these different programs that people buy into and then they forget about, but they're still getting charged. And then where their money is being spent, when you sit down and you track where everything is being spent, it will blow your mind. I'll give you an example. When I first retired, one of the things I used to do is go to Starbucks a couple of times a week. Excuse me, not a week, a couple times a day. And I was using that app, and that app was really cool, the Starbucks app where you could just scan it and then you could put more money on the app. Well, the app was actually telling me how much I was spending at Starbucks. And between my wife and I, we were easily spending well over $200 every 2 weeks. So basically $100 a week was going to coffee alone, and not even great coffee. And here's the thing, we could afford it. We just couldn't justify spending $200 every 2 weeks or $100 a week on coffee. So I just started making more coffee at home and then learning how to blend up the various flavors that we wanted in our coffee. Simple little things like that. And the same goes for business. Every time I sit down with a new business owner that I'm going to be working with, we do an audit of their business. And one of the first things we do is go into the financials. Many business owners have no idea where there's money just spilling out of their business and they can't figure out why they're not making a profit. In fact, quite frankly, most business owners don't know where their money's going, and most individuals don't either. So your first step to get started today is just start tracking where your money is being spent. It will blow your mind. Then you can make adjustments. Now, go out, live your life of abundance, and make sure to pay it forward.
That's all for today, Abundance Leaders. For more about our guests and the powerful information we shared with you today, be sure to sign up for our mailing list at menofabundance.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to hanging out with you on our next episode. So until then, be sure to pay it forward and live your life of abundance.